a.m. or you will miss it.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. As you know, voting has begun here in the Cayman Islands. Mobile voting taking place in several constituencies as we speak. So we're going to have a conversation with some of those men who helped to preserve democracy so that we here in the Cayman Islands have that ability to have free and fair elections. Talk Today will be back shortly.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen. Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I'm your host, Orrett Connor, and I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're going to be talking about the end of World War II and Cayman's contribution during that war as well. If you have any questions or comments in relation to the particular subject for this segment, you can use our toll-free number, which is 1-800-534-8255 to call in. Also 949-8037, 949-6990. We have a WhatsApp number, 925-3261, where you can call in or send us a WhatsApp message as well. We're asking you to please restrict the comments to the particular subject that we are talking about. So, on our program today, we will endeavor to give you a brief look at some of the pre-World War II information relative to our Cayman Islands. As you will be aware, that on the 8th of May, this year makes 80 years, the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II in Europe. Of course, for Japan, it took place later on. The war raged on, of course, another 4 months in the Pacific between Japan and the U.S. There were many Caymanians involved in that fight for the preservation of and defense of democracy. Through some of those brave souls' own narratives about their wartime experiences, we will hear some of that today. We have two guests in the studio. Well, one is going to be a narrator, and actually he's the producer of this segment of the program as well, none other than our own Mr. Loxley Banks. So I'm going to say welcome to Mr. Banks and have him introduce the first guest that we have in the studio with us as well. Mr. Banks, over to you.
Well, thank you, OC. And, of course, we've got Mr. Richard Connolly, and he's from up there in the east, correct? East End and New York.
Well, I think we need some clarification on all of that. World War II, I'm not familiar with that.
But just, Vietnam.
Well, I'm a Vietnam vet and born in East End, but spent most of my life in the United States, to be exact, Brooklyn, New York. And at 19 years old, I was drafted to go to Vietnam to fight. And that was not called a battle. In those days, war was considered something that happened that nobody wanted. But through the help of the good Lord, I'm still here to share a little info if we have to about that journey.
And I believe, just for clarification info, you're a Purple Heart winner?
Yes, I left wounded in Nam, drafted straight out of high school, and there's no more draft now in the United States Army, but in those days there were a draft. You had no choice but to go, and I'm a product of that.
Yeah. Well, I know they say they're having a very much increased participation in the people volunteering for these services. I'd say over the last 3 or 4 months, it's jumped up. But anyway, that's just a little brief on Mr. Connolly's, and he'll be with us throughout the program. And I believe before we move any further with that first insert, we've got some commercials coming up. If Sue is get those commercials in now, and then we'll come back with the first insert because we're running a little bit behind time already.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway, eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Big decisions need real data. Before we vote on April 30th, we deserve to know the full picture.
Cayman is being asked to approve a cruise berthing facility, but key details remain unclear. Where will it go? What is the actual cost? How will it impact local businesses and jobs? What we do know is that cruise corporations already keep 70% of passenger spending, and a pier won't change that. Before we commit to something this big, we need more data. Vote no on April 30th.
Cayman's economy should work for Caymanians, not cruise corporations. Vote no to cruise berthing infrastructure.
CUC is committed to empowering our community, from energy-saving initiatives to stories of real impact. The Empowering Cayman is about how together we're shaping a sustainable future. Visit empoweringcayman.com to learn more and get involved.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team
The following
at
is a paid political announcement.
949-8300.
I hope you're ready for change, cause I know I am.
Cayman ranking. Ah, yeah. Foot. Born and raised, Cayman strong. Northward roots where I belong. Cayman ranking is the way to vote. Ranking. Cayman ranking. Change we need. Ranking. Cayman ranking. Change we need. Ranking is the medicine that Cayman needs right now. That Cayman needs right now.
The future of Bontown West is in your hands. The time for change is now.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. In the studio, we have Mr. Loxley Banks. We also have from New York, but originally from the Cayman Islands. I think earlier he may have been referred to as Mr. Richard Connolly. It's actually Mr. James Truman Connolly. He's a veteran of the Vietnam War. So while we were talking about World War II, he wasn't involved in that war at all, but his experiences during the Vietnam War also touches on the whole topic of fighting for freedom, fighting for the preservation of democracy as well. We've also been joined by my favorite person, none other than Dr. Steve McField. I want to give Dr. McField an opportunity for some opening comments and to welcome him back into the studio. It has been quite a while.
Thank you very much, Mr. For the record, and thank you, Mr. Banks, for inviting me, and thank you, Mr. Truman Connolly, for coming to the station. I was just a couple of days ago. I was explaining to someone about the Connollys, and I was saying, they were Irishmen. They came here and they were settled in the eastern part of the island, and they controlled that whole area. The old Thomas Dighton Connolly and all of those people, and I didn't know much about them until after Wardell died. And I went up to the East End to the funeral, and I didn't know that the Connolly had their own graveyard. And then I started to talk to Burns before Burns died, Burns Connolly, and then I started to dig into the family, and I realized that they played a tremendous role in the development Cayman in the formative years, and then we had one of the Connolly's offsprings. I can't remember his name now, but he came and gave a lecture at the UCCI on the Connolly family. I think he comes from Smiley Connolly descendants, and he's a professor at one of the universities in America.
Yep.
And then people were saying, people say, well, how did the Connollys get dark? How they became dark skinned?
Well, that's a long story.
yes. And we were discussing. I just went to the Founded Upon the Sea, not the sea. Mm-hmm. And there's a stately woman there on the shit. It's a whole picture page of her. She's a Connolly, and she's a very dark woman. And I was explaining to them, I said, well, unlike the French and the Spanish islands and the Caribbean, where you could go back to Europe when you immigrated from Europe and married there, Cayman was isolated, and so there was a lot of intermarriage between the white people and their slaves and the people that they brought in, and so half of your family are white and half of the family are dark. and it was very interesting family. And 1802, I saw where old Thomas Dighton Connolly sent his sons up to Boston to buy 2 schooners and brought them.
And there's great stories all along about those things, about the Connolly. So, Truman, you're in good state.
Yeah.
Well, we got to move along because, as I said, we're already behind time. All right, we're going to jump right into that information. We're going to share with you in a reference to our Cayman Islands during World War II in the defense and preservation of freedom and democracy, and pre-World War II. Of course, Mr. Truman Connolly mentioned he was in the Vietnam War, and the fight for freedom and democracy is ongoing, and it'll always be ongoing. Now, additional to the voices you hear identified in the next excerpt are voices of Doran Miller, former Radio Cayman's deputy director, and former Talk Today host Sterling Dwayne Banks. And this will give you a bird's eye view relative to the conditions in Cayman pre-World War II and other activities in the defense of freedom and democracy of our islands. This is an edited version of a previous CI Retro Wattle Vault, and I think you'd like that, Mike. Wattle Vault special presentation. So, Sue, if we could have that cut up now.
20 years after the armistice, the isolationist and the Great Depression period, the world was on the brink of another war. Locally, the Cayman Islands was going through a period of great accomplishments. At that time, the population was about 3,000 to 4,000 people. There was a booming shipbuilding industry and commissioning of some of the most majestic sailing ships ever built, with vessels from 12 feet up to the great 3 masters of 150 to even 300 feet. The island experienced the building of necessary infrastructure that until today stands as the standard of Cayman's ingenuity and hard work. This includes buildings like the Emsley Memorial Church, the Georgetown Post Office, and our district town halls. Good afternoon, and our CI Retro Talk Today program will give you a word picture snapshot of Caymanians' dedication and contribution to the defense and preservation of freedom and democracy over the past 150 years. Here with us in the studio to help us paint this picture are Mr. Paul Ebanks, Mr. Larry Rochelle, and of course, that indomitable, unconquering spirit of Mr. Loxley Banks. Right, Mr. Loxley?
Yeah, well, thank you. And let's let Paul tell us a little bit about himself and Larry before we move on.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here. My name is Paul Banks, and I come from the district of Northside, and I served for 9 years in Her Majesty's Royal Marines and returned to the Cayman Islands around 1977 with the ability to do building as far as bricklaying. I got into having my own company and did quite a few buildings in the island.
Larry?
Thank you very much, Loxley, for inviting us to your programme. I was served for 37 years in the British Army, retired as a Lieutenant Colonel. By trade, I was an aircraft engineer, and I was in the Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers who maintained the Army's equipment. I served in those 37 years all over the world, and I had operations in the UN in Cyprus, in the Northern Ireland troubles, and in the Falklands War, where I was attached to the Royal Marines.
Well done.
Yeah, there we go. Well, and hopefully in a little bit we'll have Mr. Andrew McLaughlin in here. He's probably on his way from doing a CIA veterans chore this morning at some of the schools, I believe, trying to enlighten the young folks about the history of Cayman's involvement with the defense and preservation of freedom and democracy. Little sidebar here. Just a few weeks back, Samuel Parsons' great-granddaughter, who's now 85 years old, was in contact with family and wanted to know how everything was in Cayman. She never visited here, but still has that affinity with Cayman. Now, where does she fit in here, or where does this fit in here? Her uncle, another Sam Parsons, was Commodore of the Texas Oil Company big tanker fleet, and that is the Texaco Oil Company big tanker fleet during World War II and post-war. The fleet was supporting the military effort for freedom and democracy sailing the 7 seas and delivering much needed and essential fuel supplies. Cayman's dedication to the defense and preservation of democracy started way back in the 17th century, I guess we could say, when the first settlers arrived here, seeking freedom from whatever they perceived at that time to be impinging on their inalienable rights to freedom and democracy. There is evidence that our seafarers were sailing all over the world in the 18th century, and even reports that there were some Caymanians who fought in the Spanish-American War in 1898 along with Teddy Roosevelt, who went on to become a noted U.S. president. And I think we came across some information this morning, some reliable information.
Helping us to not just reflect on our history, but the contributions of Caymanians, not just today, but in war efforts, preserving this freedom and democracy. And we reached out to Cayman diaspora and found out that Andrew Jackson Gressman, his great granddaughter, shared with us that he served in the Civil War. Now, you imagine the Cayman connection, you're thinking, two the skirmishes up and back the ground is one thing. you have this in the American Civil War, a Cayman connection as well.
Yeah, as I said, I think it started from way back in the 17th century when the first settlers, wherever they came from, came here, and I think they were looking for freedom. There's not a lot of documentation available in that period, but it is known that at the beginning of World War I in 1914, there were some 250 Cayman Island seafarers working in the U.S. that were listed on the U.S. Army Draft Board, which meant that they could be conscripted to the U.S. Army and sent anywhere on the battlefield or wherever. And I think there were a few that they did, pull in. Also, the Yates brothers, Hewell and Kyvie, from Dadadoos, and that will ring a few bells, I guess, down there in West Bay, served in the British Army in North Africa, and they were awarded medals of commendation for their bravery and dedication, albeit they didn't realize they had been awarded medals until 7 or 8 years later when a British warship came into Georgetown Harbor to deliver the medals to the commissioner for the brothers. Subsequently, a huge island gathering was held in Hogstye Bay, right in front of where is now the museum for the brothers. All during World War I, many Cayman seafarers were doing their part in defense of freedom and democracy. They sailed in dangerous enemy waters in the Atlantic and the Mediterranean. And of course, during World War II, it was the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, the Pacific, you name it, they were all over the place. Following the end of World War I, in 1918, the Great Depression period came along, and the rise of the Third Reich, that's the Nazis, Hitler, and the spread of communism caused freedom and democracy again to be under some heavy guns, some heavy threats. Fast forward now to 1938 and the start of World War II. Here we have an audio clip coming up that gives us a piece of history. I hope Susan can get a camera shot of all of this. Of course, it's Cayman Islands Veterans Association President Andrew. Andrew, welcome. I know you've been busy this morning.
Yes,
in
thank
schools.
you. Yeah, we did a class talk for Triple C, about 100, 200 kids over there, and we just left Prospect Primary with 200 motivated little kids. When I left the door, they would still salute me.
And of course, you mentioned we. Tell them who we were.
Yes, the Cayman Islands Veterans.
And your wife, I believe.
And Shadden is on her way as well.
For those who know Mr. Andrew, not only a Marine, but equally heading up our airports. So a busy job, just like the service then, service now.
Yes.
Chief of Safety at the airport. Chief
of Safety, okay. All right, well, time's moving on, so we got to move on to a first audio clip here. And this one, we just simply entitled Munich. And what this gives you is, it's a short clip, actually, 4 minutes, I guess, that gives you an idea of what radio listening sounded like back before the beginning of World War II. So, Sue, if we can have that right now.
To Munich, Germany calling. The last 11th hour attempt to save the peace of Europe and avert a world war over the Sudeten muddle has just begun here in Munich.
1938 was the year of crisis. That's William L. Shirer's familiar voice.
Senior Mussolini, Mr. Daladier, and Mr. Chamberlain are meeting in the Führerbau, or the Führer's headquarters.
To the people of Czechoslovakia, 1938 was a poised knife. To Londoners, it was the digging of slit trenches and a Prime Minister, Neville Chamberlain, who said,
"How horrible, fantastic, incredible it is that we should be digging trenches and trying on gas masks here because of a quarrel in a faraway country between people of whom we know nothing."
Ich habe in diesen Jahren wirklich eine praktische Friedenspolitik betrieben. Ich bin an alle die scheinbar unmögliche...
In America that September, it was waking up mornings to hear Nazi cheers and a Führer's rantings. Its animal-like hysteria caricatured by the filtering of the shortwave. For 20 years, he said, German people in Czechoslovakia had to be traitors to their own cause because they were defenseless against Herr Beneš's persecutions. Either Beneš will accept my offer and give the Germans in the Sudetenland freedom, or we will take it.
Wieder, 2 Tage später 41.000, dann 62.000, dann 78.000, jetzt sind es 90.000, 107.000, 137.000 und heute 214.000.
Czech freedom was swapped for what Mr. Chamberlain called peace in our time.
Tomorrow, Parliament is going to meet, and I shall be making a full statement of the events which have led up to the present anxious and critical situation. And first of all, I must say something to those who have written to my wife or myself in these last weeks to tell us of their gratitude for my efforts and to assure us of their prayers for my success. After my visits to Germany, I realized vividly how Herr Hitler feels that he must champion other Germans. He told me privately, and last night he repeated publicly, that after this Sudeten German question is settled, that is the end of Germany's territorial claims in Europe.
Weighing 193, wearing purple trunks, outstanding contender for heavyweight honors, the former heavyweight title holder, Max Schmeling.
The only defeat the Nazis suffered that year was 3,500 miles west of the Sportspalast at the Yankee Stadium. An American Negro who wouldn't believe he was champion until he had conquered the only man who had ever beaten him.
World's heavyweight champion, Joe Louis.
Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling. The well-known voice of NBC's Clem McCarthy.
Right and left to the head, a left to the jaw, a right to the head, and Donovan is watching carefully. Lewis measures him, right to the body, a left hook to the jaw, and Schmeling is down. The count is 5, 6, 7, 8. The men are in the ring. The fight is over on a technical knockout. Max Schmeling is beaten in 1 round.
And that's just a little piece of history from back in 19, I guess, could even be late 37, 38, 39. And out here in Cayman, of course, those shortwave radios were going. The few that was here at the time, probably no more than, I would say, if there were 15 radios on Cayman in that time, it was plenty. You know, there were a lot of them were tuned to the Schmeling Joe Louis fight, and there were, I guess, in every district there were yards with literally, dozens of people then trying listening to that fight. But that's just a little bit of history and connection here with Cayman. And of course, after that, World War II, was on the way. It was, I guess, blooming, almost in full bloom, and the Western world was under heavy guns again. Now, fellers, I think you heard a little bit there, and I think what was described in that cut was probably one of the greatest deceptions I think that history has ever witnessed. Larry, you got any comment on that?
Yeah, I have. It's a thing called appeasement, where the West tried to appease Hitler to prevent war. But I think we have to put it into context. People that were trying to prevent the war had lived through tremendous casualties in the First World War. We're talking millions killed. And as a result, for example, France capitulated almost straight away when the Germans invaded, because they just couldn't stomach another war. And indeed, even when you look at Britain, in 1916, the British Army suffered its highest casualties in a single day at the Battle of the Somme. 64,000 soldiers were casualties on that first day. I mean, that equates to the population of Cayman today. All casualties in one day. And of those, a third were dead. So whenever I talk to the young kids at the schools in Cayman, I just sort of say, well, look either side of you. 1 in 3 of you would have been dead that day, and the other 2 would have been serious casualties. I think that just puts it into perspective that there was really very little stomach for yet another war. Deception, yep, but I think it has to be put into context after what they'd suffered.
Maybe there's some of that going on right here, right in these days.
Happens all the time, I think.
Yeah. Okay, Paul, anything quickly?
Just to take up on what Larry had said, was that I think the role that Britain played was that they would not allow force to be used to determine these situations. And this is a very important principle when you're talking about democracy.
Andrew?
I think history repeats itself enough.
Yes. But there's also a thing called strength to deter some of these maybe thought about deceptions. And as we said, World War II was on, and we welcome now to our program Shadon McLaughlin. Tell us just 17 seconds about yourself, Shadon.
Apologies for my tardiness. My name is Shadon McLaughlin. I'm the only female veteran in the Veterans Association. I'm executive member. I served in the United States Marine Corps for 2 years, and I am a disabled veteran, and now I work to help our aging veterans in our community. And
that's a good segue into a reminder here to parents who may be listening to this today. And so there's opportunity for you to let those youngsters listen to some of this, and that they will have an appreciation for what we got here, and know that it didn't just spring up here, that it was, I guess, written in blood for a lot of people. And that's just the way it is. I mean, it's a somber thought, but you've got to think with, because I think too many people come across our shores, come around Northwest Point or Southwest Point, or come in and Sound, and they don't realize exactly what in the heck we got here and how we got it.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Okay, we got a few minutes here before news time, and on that insert that we heard prior to the commercial, anyone got any thoughts on, Cayman pre-World War II, and want to pipe in here?
Well, it reminds me of when I was a youngster growing up. I was scared about war because I remember going to Sunday school at the Presbyterian Church, and there was a plaque. They had put a plaque up there about Mr. Roddy Watler's son, Steve Watler's brother.
Ladner, I think.
And say lost at sea, torpedoed. And I thought, jeez, that's terrible.
That wouldn't be Ladner. Ladner's younger.
No, but
there was another one.
Ladner Senior.
Senior. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
And I thought I was always scared to look at that because the guy was lost at sea. And I remember my grandfather. My grandfather was always anxious about the war being finished because a lot of his sons were away. They were working on ships. And he had one son was in the Trinidad Navy, and the one son was in the Army here in the Home Guards, and he was always very stoic about it. And then I remember the day when he was sitting on his porch, and he never spoke. My grandfather never spoke a lot of words to anyone. He just looked at you and stare at you, and he was saying, "When the lights come on again, all over the world, and the boys come home again from all over the world." And I said, "My grandma, pass singing." And I remember, but I didn't like wars. I remember going down by the library and Miss Leela Ross giving us the magazines about the British news and stuff. And I never liked that. I thought it was a bad thing for people to be killing each other.
Well, just jumping in on what you just said about your grandfather, that was the sort of psyche of many Caymanians, because there were so many Caymanians that were involved in this whole battle, out at sea, and there were people on the battlefield. Andrew Henning landed in Normandy on D-Day and sloshed his way all across Europe to the Rhine when Germany was defeated. Mr. Truman Connolly, you have anything to add to what you just heard? We got about 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
No more I would like to say is that wars are not a nice thing, and created by man, more so politicians, to enhance themselves, and of course the little guy perish by it. Anyone that's been to war will tell you it's not like the movies portray war. War is real serious. We talk about life and death, losing many friends and relatives. And after the war, then you still have to deal with that mentally. You take a young man out of high school, 18, 19 years old, and you teach him, what do you teach him? You teach him to kill. Kill. So who's that manufactured by?
It's all politics.
It's all politics to make money, more money.
And war is big business.
And the little guy has always been big business and continue to be big business. And we have some going on right now. So it's not a nice thing. War has never been a nice thing.
Okay, well, it's news time, Sue.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Butterfield reports its first quarter results for 2025. The financial highlights include net income of $53.8 million, or $1.23 per share, and core net income of $56.7 million, or $1.30 per share. The return on average common equity is at 20.9%, and the core return on average tangible common equity is 24.2%. In regional headlines, Grenada records an increase in crime in 2024. Acting Commissioner of Police Randy Conant says Grenada recorded a 1.6% increase in overall crimes over the prior year, but that increase is in petty and property crime as opposed to major crime. The commissioner says the solvency rate is 74.8% of all crimes reported. A new learning resource center is offering hope to vulnerable children and youth at the New Beginnings Transit Home in St. Lucia. The Learning Resource Center offers the young residents a safe and supportive environment for structured academic work, digital training, and personal development. The project is part of the Safety Nets for Vulnerable Populations affected by the Coronavirus Project, a joint initiative of the Government of St. Lucia, the Caribbean Development Bank, and the Inter-American Development Bank. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts, MBE, JP. Following a successful and decorated shipping and military career, Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts, MBE, JP, returned back to Cayman. In 1953, an enterprising Captain Keith began a small retail grocery business in Watering Place. The entrepreneurial spirit he developed 20 years prior while working in the family-owned soft drink factory at Cotton Tree Bay would shine through, turning the grocery business into Tibmart Supermarket in 1974, introducing gift stamps for purchases and pioneering self-service shopping in Cayman. Keith Tibbetts was fond of saying, "They stocked everything to take you from the cradle to the grave." Captain Keith's entrepreneurial efforts stretched far, and he began landing cars by pontoons in 1955. He also owned and operated the island's first rock crusher and started commercial farming on the bluff. He then opened a gas station in 1955, served as Cayman Airways agent until 1980, and in 1975 was appointed agent with Red Carpet Airlines, part owned by his brother Linton. He also operated a sub-post office, taught local men carpentry, built 12 houses, and sold them to young seamen, assembled a steel staircase, and built the platform for the stratoscopic antenna for cable wireless at Stake Bay, worked as an agent for Morton General Insurance Company, operated Skipper's Lodge Guest House, Kesson Rent-A-Car, served as an agent for Thompson Shipping Company, and owned and operated a gift shop at the Brack Reef Hotel. This was part 6 of a special Sister Islands vignette series dedicated to Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts.
I'll be back. I've got 22 more days.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Well, we're moving right along here, sort of running behind time. We want to get all our information in, but, harken back to what is the main discussion here, the Caymanians' involvement in the defense of freedom and democracy over the years, actually, I guess probably 150 years, maybe longer than that. But, and they were all through history, going back, I think, they think as far as the Revolutionary War, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, and then we had the Korean War, which a lot of Caymanians were involved in, and the Vietnam War, of course, which also a lot of Caymanians were involved in. And we were very fortunate to have with us in the studio today one of those gentlemen, Mr. Truman Connolly, who was a soldier in the Vietnam War. And Truman, we got about, maybe a minute and a half. You can just relate just a little bit of your experience there, and that'll connect up with the Cayman Islands defense of freedom and democracy.
And if you may, Mr. Truman, during your discussion, if you can talk about the reception that Vietnam veterans received, and when we hear about all of the excitement that took place after the end of World War I and World War II as well, and how they compare and contrast, or they actually contrast.
Well, as I said earlier, war is it's not a pleasant thing, and it's unfortunate that we can't, as men and people of the world, that we cannot find a way to resolve our conflicts or our differences than by going to war, which affects so many people. Freedom is not free. That's also been something I was taught. People say freedom, but it's a price to pay for freedom. And yes, the Vietnam War was not a popular thing. It was considered a conflict and not a war. But you can't tell that to the people that came back maimed and died, both mentally and physically. And when we came back, we were left alone on our own, and our own people turned against us, called us baby killers. So it's something that we have to deal with over the years, and quite a few others. And as far as World War II, I was not around for that one, but Korea War, it was considered a big victory for the world when they took care of the Nazis. So my position is that we must find other ways of resolving conflicts than going to war. So if that can be done with the Lord's help, I think then we will see a much better world.
That's beautiful. Beautifully said. That's but you look back in history, and throughout mankind, throughout the history of mankind, war has been, I guess, the most constant thing amongst our being. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, we have to move on because we're running a little late here. We'll get it on time. I think we'll move to our next insert, which is by Mr. Lee Smith, who was a seafarer during World War II, and also a prisoner of war during World War II, and he will relate some of his discussion or some of his experiences during that time period. This is about 7 minutes narrative, and then we got a short one after that, and I guess we'll be to the end of the program. So soon, Mr. Lee Smith.
I was in Mobile, Alabama, with Leif and Lee Banks, Hulbert Bush, and Edith Farrington when the war was declared on September 3rd, 1939, which was on a Sunday. A few days later, we went to the British Council and told him that we wanted to join an English ship. He smiled and said, "Young man, you sure have a lot of guts." Anyway, a few days later, he called us and said, "It's a ship laying at the dock that need 4 men on deck, so come down as quick as possible to sign on." And I'll never forget the words that gentleman used. He said, "Good luck, boys. With your help, we shall win the war."
About this?
Well, I loved the country.
You felt it to be your duty, in other words?
And I needed a job.
You were, of course, the merchant navy and imprisoned in Germany in a concentration camp for quite a number of years. What could you relate some of your experiences? What led up to your capture, and how did you endure it?
Well, in the 2 years and better that I helped take cargoes to Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia, I saw many ships go down, and I also saw men in lifeboats, and I'll never forget, this voyage was from Australia, and it was in the South Atlantic, between Cape Town, South Africa, and Sierra Leone, North Africa. We saw this. It looked like a bird on the horizon, and shortly after that, the captain got a signal saying, "Stop and don't use your radio, or we'll blow you out of the water."
So this was a message from the Germans?
Yeah. That was the Admiral Scheer, and in no time at all, this ship was alongside of us, told us to take our boats and get off the ship and proceed to the Admiral Scheer. And as soon as we got aboard, they torpedoed our ship and it went down. And the Scheer took us aboard a supply ship, and we was on there for 3 weeks.
This is a German supply ship?
The German supply ship. We was there for 3 weeks, and then they took us to France. We spent 3 weeks in France, and from there to Germany.
You traveled by rail from France to Germany?
By rail.
And in what part of Germany, which concentration camp did you spend those years?
That was Bremen, on the outskirts of Bremen.
What kind of treatment did you have as a prisoner of war?
Well, let's put it this way. If you behaved yourself, well then you got pretty good treatment. What I'm trying to say is that men that played Sturban were shot down right before us.
What about the deprivations? Were you short of all kinds of things as a prisoner of war, food and other amenities? I imagine you would have been.
We had Red Cross parcels, which we received about every 3 months, if we were lucky.
What was the regimen of your daily life in that camp?
We all had opportunity to work if we wanted.
Or you could choose not to.
Yeah, so I worked on a farm.
Were there any special considerations for you as a prisoner of war if you chose to work and contribute?
Well, let's put it this way. The ones that worked,
did they get an extra apple?
They got an extra apple, you're right. We had, we could bring in food. We could bring in potatoes and so forth like that.
And that was important, I would imagine.
Yeah, so we shared it with the guys in the camp, you know.
To the best of your knowledge, were you the only prisoner of war from the Cayman Islands?
No, it was Orrett Connor, Lythony Banks, Edith Farrington, and Hulbert Bush, and Elgin Scott.
I met him.
Of course, he lives in
Texas, I think.
Galveston,
Yes, I have met him, though. As a matter of fact, I've talked with him before.
That's about all
They all live to return home.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Mr. Lee Smith and his experiences about enduring World War II. Any just quickly comments on what his experience was?
No, I wouldn't want to have that experience. It frightens me just to listen to it, at least because they were lucky that they took them off the ship before they torpedoed the ship. Some of those German people just torpedoed the ship and all the people got lost. They were lucky. I would have liked to know what they said to them, if they said anything after they took them on board.
Well, you know,
if I may, Mr. Connolly, of course, the Vietnam War, which you're familiar with, and I'm not sure how much you want to talk about it because there's still trauma possibly involved. But talking about prisoners of war, the most famous American prisoner of war during the Vietnam War would have been John McCain, as well. But do you have any stories of any of your colleagues who may have went through such experiences?
Quite a few stories pertaining to the war experience, even though it was not referred to as a war experience. I'm a member of the first cav, which was on K. When I left Nam, I was at the South China Seas. But I'll just say that my Cayman experience, being born in the Cayman Islands, helped me in such a way that it's almost laughable that in the South China Sea, we were on a search and destroy mission, and we had no water, no food. For those that don't understand what a search and destroy mission is, it's very secretive. You travel fast, you travel light. Your goal is to destroy, kill and destroy. And when we came out of the jungle, we were on the beach, South China Sea. And we had no food, no water to drink. And here we are now wondering what we're going to do, how we're going to survive until we get picked up and survive. And what is staring me? A coconut tree. A coconut tree on the beach with young coconuts. So some of my men now, I said, look, we have something to drink and something to eat. And they have no idea what I was talking about. When I explained it to them, they said, how are we going to get it, man? I said, we're going to climb. And this is a true story. And we climbed that coconut tree and twisted with our bayonets, cut down those young coconuts. And that was able to get us through until we were able to get water, and that's a true story.
So that old Caymanian heritage, that worked, huh?
And I'll just say this, Caymanian is known for little skinny legs, especially back in them days. And all during that time, my little skinny legs kept me going with the will of God. And the guys with the big legs were having heat strokes and everything. But them little skinny legs, these standing skinny legs kept me going.
Yeah.
So that's just a little levity in the seriousness of what we're talking about. But war is hell, my friend. War is hell.
Yeah. Doc, anything you want to chime in there with?
No, I don't want to go to war. I'm not a warrior in that sense. I'm a warrior with words and philosophy and so forth. I'm not a physical. I don't want to kill anyone.
Okay.
And I don't like death and losses. It's too for me. It's too permanent.
Yeah. Since we have Mr. Truman in the studio with us, and while Mr. Loxley is doing some other stuff, for those in the Cayman Islands who don't know you, and we did during the COVID, after COVID, I did run something on the family as well. But tell us about your background. Tell us about your involvement in New York. You not only served a member of the U.S. Armed Forces, but you also were involved in local politics in New York as well.
Very much so, because when I left, came out of the service, I was lost. I had no direction to go in. I didn't know what was happening, no way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we went to GI Bill was there for us to go to school, my mind was so twisted. I kept continuing to come back to the Cayman Islands because I said I had enough for America and I was going to come back home to live. I was referred to the Cayman Islands as home. But it didn't work out. After about 2-3 weeks, I said I'm back. I went back again.
Too slow for your own.
Too something. I'm not sure up to now what it meant. But there was a young lady at the time that I met. I was introduced to. By the name was Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm at that time had just ran for president of the United States, and for some reason she took a liking to me. I guess because of all my confusion. She said, "Young man, what do you intend to do with yourself, your life?" I said, "I have no idea." Anyway, she took me under her wing. And from there, I sat the knees and pour her a little rum and coke when I was told, carry her bag, whatever was necessary. And we went on then to get involved in politics with her help. And from there, I remember they told me after learning I had to run for office. And my first venture into politics was to run for the 42nd Assembly District in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I got a nice interest in lesson I lost.
Was that in the Flatbush area? Or
That's the Flatbush area,
okay.
called the 42nd. And we went on to other things until 2 years later, I was able to take the leadership away. And it was so surprising at the time, I became the first black man to be elected in the Flatbush area. And with her tutelage, we went on then to become other positions. I've worked with a lot of the mayors, Rudy Giuliani, Ed Koch, that you guys know, David Dinkins. So I have my experience, and we've become a community person. We don't call it politics; we call it peopletition. We're there to help the people all we can, which is one of the reasons I'm down here now. And this is a crucial election, like for us in New York, so for you guys down here, because Cayman is small, but it's very influential in the world.
Okay.
And it's important that we get the right people in.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to talking with you some more as well. I think you're here until sometime in May.
They told me May 7th. The boss lady is here.
Oh, okay. I would hope it wasn't immigration that told you to stay until May.
This is the boss lady.
Loxley, over to you.
Okay, we're coming up to the end of our program, but we wanted to get this short excerpt in for you, and this is by Elgin Scott. He was a seafarer, and it talks about, and Brother Mike there mentioned, Mr. McField, about being torpedoed, the trauma of that. He gives us a very succinct, and it's very graphic, and those of you listening that you think you can't handle some of that stuff, you might tune into something else at the time, but it's very graphic, It's just 2 minutes, and you'll have to listen closely because when we got this, actually, he did it with the National Archives. He was getting old. He lived in Texas, but he came home every year. He spent 2 or 3 weeks, maybe months out here, and we did a lot of talking with him. And he, very few people like Mr. Truman here don't want to talk about all those experiences, but he was one that would talk about it. He and Mr. Lee Smith, that's some of the ones that we could, corral into doing these talks. And the former news director and deputy director, Radio Cayman, Mr. Dornmiller, did quite a lot of this work. But anyway, so let's go to that cut, and it's Mr. Elgin Scott describing. Now, just to set this up, he was on a ship, and they had left Gibraltar, and they had taken aboard some seafarers who had been torpedoed just maybe the day before, that night before. So let's pick it up at this point.
Yeah, we took them aboard to come into Gibraltar. Coming back from Gibraltar, where the German ship was waiting out there 700 miles from Gibraltar. And we seen him in the morning following us. He had Swedish Miracle Line painted outside the ship. He had a Swedish flag flying. And he followed us that night about 10 o'clock. Then he came up, sunk it. See, breaking all in that there. He was trying to sink her by shellfire, but he couldn't sink her because all the other tanks was nothing but air, and it was on 2 tanks, had 2,000 ton aboard. So he opened that machine gun. I seen a guy standing right alongside me. Machine gun ripped him right open, all his intestines went between his legs, hollering, it killed me, get me out and went and lowered in the lifeboat. The ship was still going half speed. And one of the guys shoot, let it go to Paul, let it go to Paul. The lifeboat turned bottom up, and we fell out the lifeboat. And when I got in the water, the ship was spinning around like a gate. I heard one of the guys shouting, "Shark got me, shark got me." I thought this was so dark. I thought it was because it was scared, but no, it was shark on him. Shark at that guy, and then next thing the other guy shouted, there was 4 of us, and he had the other guys were jumping, night time. And the Germans had a lifeboat out, and he come up alongside and grabbed us and hauled us in the boat. He don't know that they said there would be replant sharks around it. We had so much oil, you couldn't see it was coming out of this oil that way. When we got aboard ship, the Germans had 2 big drums of kerosene open on the ship deck. With scrubbing brushes to scrub us off. Covered it out, it took about 2 of us on that. When we got aboard, they had 5 ships crew. Yeah, that's up 5 ships.
Okay, that's just Mr. Elgin Scott talking about just a little bit of his wartime experience. He was also a prisoner of war, and he has some really graphic description of what he went through. Brother Mike, that really tells the story. And sometimes I wonder, are the young folks up to that to going through all that today? We got about 50 seconds, 70 seconds.
Young folks couldn't handle war today. They can't even handle peace today. So the young folks couldn't handle anything that would tax them to the point where they would have to sacrifice their lives for any kind of freedom, whether it's the freedom for themselves or for their country or for their mom or dad. They just don't have that sort of stamina today. And that is the reason why I'm so worried about war, because it won't be a war like the First World War or the Second World War or Vietnam or Korea.
Yeah.
It will only be a 20 minutes.
Yes, yeah.
23 minutes, they say. And that would be the end of humanity and the world today.
Yeah, the world is in a dire strait. Mr. Truman, we're just about to close out. You got any just final remarks? 17 seconds? Yeah.
Well, no more than it. It was a pleasure sitting in with you guys. I'm still learning, being a humble servant, and it's good to be back to the Cayman Islands. It's still home to me. I still call it home.
Well, thank you. And Brother Mike? Mr. Steve
Well,
McField?
I've been to many countries. I've studied abroad and been to Canada and spent a lot of time there, and got married abroad. But Cayman is my home. I think I would never leave it now for any other country in the world. I think the only place I would leave Cayman for is there's a heaven to go to heaven.
That's where we're at.
But I would not leave Cayman for any other place in the world. I can tell you that.
Well, that's the great prize up ahead of us.
Yes,
I know, and we're moving up pretty close to that.
Yes. I'm moving up towards that now. Yes,
That's sobering thought.
Yes.
Well, and in over the next 2 or 3 weeks, you'll hear a lot about the 80th celebration of the end of World War II in Europe. That's going to be happening here in Cayman and all around the world, and that brings us to the end of today's program. OC, you got to.
Okay, we're going to go to commercial break. When we return, we will have Miss Romelia Welcome in the studio with us. Of course, she's the candidate seeking to represent the constituency of Georgetown North in our upcoming April 30th general election. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
The following is a paid political message by the Progressives.
Hello, Savannah. This is Donna Bush. On Election Day, every voter in Savannah will have a say in who our representative is for the next 4 years. Every vote counts, so I am asking you to let your voice be heard. If you want action and not more of the same promises, I stand ready to be your voice. Vote for number 2, Donna Bush. Together, we can build a brighter future.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. See the light again.
That was a paid political message by the Progressives.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The following is a paid political announcement by the Caymanian Community Party.
The PPM had their turn. What did we get? Exploding population, soaring cost of living, secret deals, and unfair immigration system. You're scraping by while they help their friends cash in. You tighten your belt while they blow money on vanity projects. Enough is enough. The Caymanian Community Party is different. We will make sure Caymanians have an opportunity in our own country. No side deals, no shady alliances. On April 30th, vote TCCP for a stronger, fairer Cayman.
That was a paid political message by the Caymanian Community Party.
Big decisions need real data. Before we vote on April 30th, we deserve to know the full picture.
A cruise pair would require dredging large areas of seabed, placing our marine life, coral reefs, and water quality at risk. While Cayman would carry the environmental and economic burden, the cruise lines stand to benefit the most. They already take up to 70% of cruise passenger spending through onboard shops and exclusive partnerships. Is it worth risking what makes Cayman special so that cruise corporations can earn even more? Vote no on April 30th.
Let's protect what makes Cayman unique. Vote no to cruise berthing infrastructure.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo footlong cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with bento and let's eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo footlong cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My pleasure to have in the studio with me for this segment none other than Mr. Romelia Welcome, who's the independent candidate seeking to represent the constituency of Georgetown North in our upcoming general elections, which are due on April the 30th. Ms. Welcome, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and while you may need no introduction to some of our audience, I'm going to still ask you to introduce yourself and also tell us why you decided to become a candidate in these elections.
Okay, thanks for having me. My name is Romellia Welcome, as just mentioned. I am one of the daughters of Clarice Verlene Welcome from East End and the late Melvin Welcome from the B Islands, Rotan, Honduras. I am very passionate about caring for my people. I'm very passionate about getting things done in our communities, and the amount of things that I have set my heart on to get done and have done in the communities, not just Georgetown North. And unfortunately, I was not supported by the previous MP, was not supported at all with getting things done, which is very troubling, because at the end of the day, it would have made him look good if he had supported me in getting the things that was needed to be done in Georgetown North done. He would have been looking pretty good today. So I decided last minute, because I was expecting someone else to come on board and to run against him, which I would have been in support of, but nobody decided to come out, and I couldn't let him go just like that without anybody running up against him. So I said, well, I've been doing for years what needs to be done in our communities, not being paid for it, all coming from the heart. So why not? So I just prayed and I said, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, make the way and open the way. And that's just what happened. So I am here.
Okay, let's talk about some of the projects that you have been involved in, some of the things that you've been doing in the community in the past.
First and foremost, when hurricane season is coming around, I'm on top of it with NRA. We need our drains clean. We need trees cut away from the electrical wires. We need overgrown vegetation cut back. I also advocate for how best we can assist our seniors. I'm a voice in the community for how we assist our seniors, how we get our seniors help. If we have seniors who are not able to attend to the yard, especially after a hurricane, we would come together and team up and assist that senior, go to that senior's premises, clean the premises up for them. And just a little more on, so people will be clear, I am the president of Caymankind Action Committee, the nonprofit organization which is a voice for the people and seeks to help our people in a way we can. So not only we've done a lot and we're still doing a lot for our seniors. And the only person that can say that really, really went out of the way to support us with our seniors is Mr. MP. He's going to kill me. I'm forgetting his name. From West Bay. Andre Ebanks. Sorry, Andre. Okay. Sorry. Andre Ebanks. He went to the extent to grant us $20,000 for last year and $20,000 for this year. So we were able to put on a lot of activities for our seniors. We try to get them out because we feel that we have a lot of our seniors are tucked away at home and don't get out to mingle with others, and we feel that once we bring them out that they will be happier and tend to live longer. So we make that bridge where the family are not able, or whether able or not, to assist with their elders. We gets them to come out. And right now I just left a chill club session where we have about 20 to 25 seniors they're out there at TE McField Center. And they come out, they play games, do arts and craft, and we feed them. As right now we have Cayman Mall Road sponsored them lunch today, so she's there and assisting them with food today. She does it once a month. We also take our seniors overseas to get them like an overseas retreat. Year before last we went to Cayman back. Last year we went to Panama. And once the elections is over, we're heading to the Bay Islands of Rotan, of Honduras. Okay.
And now do you liaise with entities like the Older Persons Commission? We have a commission that has been established, and of course we have the legislation as well. Do you do any work with them?
No, unfortunately. I tried at one point because I spoke to Miss Lucille Seymour and Miss Cassandra. I don't remember her last name, but I was very passionate about getting Life Alert to come into the Cayman Islands for our seniors, because we have a lot of seniors that live at home alone and no way of emergency contact if something was to happen to them. And I have been begging them to let's see how best we can come together and get Life Alert into the Cayman Islands for our seniors. Unfortunately, it has fallen on deaf ears. We have had, as you know, seniors that have passed in their home and no one knows till a few days later. And with Life Alert, all it does is just a touch of a button will bring some emergency responders to that person's home right away. And I think that's one of the things that I will be fighting for once I'm in. Coming April 30th, God's willing, that's one of the things are on my agenda, is better care, better attention to our seniors.
Okay, Ms. Welcome. We're going to go to a commercial break. Now, when we return, I want you to talk about your campaign strategy, how you're going about campaigning. We see, in this election, so many social media posts, so many things, taking place as far as social media and artificial intelligence and everything is concerned. But we have also seen emerge is the small group meetings, the yard meetings that you're having with people. And I want to hear some of the feedback that you're getting from those persons in terms of what their concerns are, what they would like to see, happen in the next 4 years, as far as Cayman and as far as their lives are concerned as well. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, folks, the conversation will continue with Ms. Romelia Welcome, who is the candidate seeking to represent the constituency of Georgetown North in our upcoming general election.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The following is a paid political message by the Progressives.
Hello, this is Alba Suku. Newlands, you are more than just voters to me. You're my neighbors, my friends, and my extended family. I've been honored to fight for you, to listen to you, and to work for the future our children deserve. I know the hopes you carry because they're the same hopes I have for my own family. I'm excited for the chance to serve you again and to keep building a Newlands we can all be proud of. On April 30th, vote for caring, committed representation. Vote number 3, Alba Suku.
That was a paid political message by the Progressives.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walker's Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walker's Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Big decisions need real data. Before we vote on April 30th, we deserve to know the full picture.
The last cruise pier proposal would have cost us $400 million, and that was in 2019. Today, construction costs are even higher. Who pays? Not the cruise lines. They profit from onboard shopping and exclusive partnerships, keeping most of what passengers spend. Meanwhile, Caymanian businesses see a shrinking share of cruise revenue. Before we take on a project of this scale, we need to ensure it benefits us. Vote no on April 30th.
Caymanians should benefit from our tourism, not cruise corporations. Vote no to cruise berthing infrastructure.
The Cayman Islands National Dance Company presents Majestic, a mesmerizing journey of emotions and nature, featuring powerful repertoire pieces, exciting new creations, and remastered dances, all inspired by the elements. Saturday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. and Sunday, May 4th at 5 p.m., all shows at the Hartwell Theatre. Tickets are $30 for adults, $15 for children under 15, and they're available at Radiance Dance Studio, Audiophile Cayman, or call 926-1826. Don't miss Majestic! Saturday, May 3rd and Sunday, May 4th at the Hartwell Theatre stage. Sponsored by ARC Directors, Vanguard Risk Solutions, and Caribbean Utilities Company Limited. Majestic.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I'm your host, Orrett Connor. We have Miss Romelia Welcome in the studio with us. She's a candidate seeking to represent the constituency of Georgetown North in our upcoming general election. If you have any questions or comments for Miss Romelia, please send them to us via our WhatsApp number. That number is 925-3261. Meanwhile, before we went to the break, I asked Ms. Romelia to talk about her campaign strategy in this day and age with, so many platforms and as well as artificial intelligence. How is she conducting her campaign, as well as what she's hearing on the campaign trail in terms of the concerns that those persons that she have spoken to, what the concerns they have.
Okay, I'm doing very awesome with the door knocking, walking around and community to community and speaking to people. And I'm being addressed a lot with, they've never seen an MP in 4 years. Seniors along Westby Road stretching those condos. I've had people tell me, well, I've been living here 20 years or 24 years and I've never seen a candidate. It is so amazing to see people, the candidate actually coming out and finding them. And some of them that I did not have the privilege, those condos, I didn't have the privilege of speaking with them directly. I sign up my card and leave it at the office, and they received it and they called, "Oh, Miss Welcome, you didn't even have to come and do this. I already voted for you. I already sent in my ballot for you." He just said, but it is amazing to see that you thought to come to us, to send, to have this stuff delivered to where we're at. That's awesome, because we never had that kind of representation before, which is not good. We need to pay more attention to our people, the people who vote us in. It's not just, should not be just election time that our grassroots people should get attention that is needed. We are needed attention all year round. I understand that a MP is not available 24/7, but if there was to put people in place and where people know that they can go to this location, bring your concerns here, it will get to the MP. If they can't solve it on their own, then it will get to the MP and it will get looked into. That's all we're asking. And we can't get that sort of feedback or that sort of act happening in our communities with our MPs. It's like once they are in, the people that voted them in is no longer, especially the grassroots people, are no longer the topic. It's like they don't exist anymore. And that is so sad, because I always believe, and I always say that to be an MP, people who are MPs or who decides to be MPs, I think for them to be a good MP, first and foremost, they have to love the Lord. Once you love the Lord, you love yourself, you would love others. You cannot love others if you don't love yourself. And we find a lot of these MPs are self-centered. They're only for themselves and what they can gain. I am not here for anything to gain. I am here to make sure that my people get what is needed and the assistance that is needed. That's why I'm here.
Okay. Now, we know that there are many manifestos that have been published now as sorts, and many promises are made. There are some voters who are skeptical, some who say they're not going to vote simply because they get these promises, but promises that are never kept. As an independent candidate, and I think we all recognize that just one person, you can't get it done by yourself. If you are elected to represent Georgetown North, what sort of alliance would you form in terms of to be able to advance your agenda for your constituency?
Well, the team that gets in, I know we have 3 parties out there. I'm willing to work with 2, not having anything to do with PPM. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, there's no I in team, and everybody have to come together to make it work. And I will focus on the teams that, or the team that is in, that are willing, that we share the same goals. Once we share the same goals, I'm pretty sure things will get done.
But what if the PPM forms the government? Then
I'm on the back bench once I'm in.
But how do you then represent your constituency?
How do I represent?
And
holding them
get
accountable.
things done for them.
Holding them accountable, and putting in my issues as well. I remember the first 4 years of Kenneth Bryan's first 4 year in. He wasn't able to get anything done because they had his hands tied, both in his constituency and in LA. His hands were tied. I encouraged him. I told him to pray about things, leave it. Evidentially, where is he? Or where was he? He became minister where he could do what was needed to get done. And I think if so be the case that I'm not able to, I'm putting things there, what I would like to get done in my community, and it is happening, I'm going to let my constituency know. I'm not going to keep them in the dark. I'm going to let them know this is what is happening. I've put in for this, whatever it is that I'm putting for and trying to get done in my communities. I will let them know. You understand? I think that the key here is holding each and every one of them accountable, which have not been happening. It seems like nobody is holding nobody accountable because everybody has skeletons in their closets. So you squeal on me, I'm going to squeal on you. And that alone right there is corruption. And I am one candidate. Once I'm elected on the 30th of April, God's willing, that is one of the things that I will bring out to light. And it's like I tell them, each and every one that I've talked to thus far, if it does not benefit my Cayman Islands, if it does not benefit my people, please don't bring it. It have to benefit our people.
And you spoke about the condo area and stuff like that. Have any of them expressed their concerns about the erosion and the beach erosion and that situation being addressed? Do you have any viewpoints on that?
Oh yes, I had a few that brought that to my attention, and one specifically stated, she mentioned to me, she said, Miss Welcome, from they put all of those rocks out behind where Margaritaville was. From time they put those rocks out in the ocean, out in the water there, 7 Mile Beach has been deteriorating since that. I don't see the use for it. I don't see why it should be out there. And if that's what's causing the problem, it needs to be discussed and removed. If that's what's causing the problem, because this is one of our major income and why tourists come to these islands, because of our 7 Mile Beach. And if we lose it, what then? No one cares to even sit down and say, well, let's discuss this. Let's see where we went wrong and let's fix it. Let's fix it, because it's not something that cannot be fixed. It is something that can be fixed.
Okay. Does the area where the landfill is that part of your constituency?
Oh, yes.
As well? Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're going to go to our 2 o'clock news. When we return, I want to talk about, that. We still have some time? Okay, we still have some time, 2 minutes, so we can continue to talk about that. Yep.
Like I just discussed it in my debate, 15 to 20%, I think it is, that of what goes to the landfill is debris from landscaping. Why isn't that being mulched and turned into soil and sell back for revenue? One of the things I'm looking at, in ways I'm looking at as well, is I would like to discuss is how about each district contain their own garbage? Why is every district garbage coming to Georgetown North? I think if we can come up with other areas from each district that contain their own recycling area, it provide jobs for people in that district. It would lighten up on traffic a whole lot, and it would be less at our landfill.
Okay, Miss Susan, we're going to throw it to you. When we return, the conversation with Miss Romelia Welcome will continue. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
I'm April Cummings with your headlines. Mobile voting continues today with electors in Georgetown Central, West, South, and East, and Red Bay casting their votes, along with people in Little Cayman. Mobile voting is an option available to electors who are unable to attend a polling station on General Election Day due to illness, disability, or because they will be working that day and would find it difficult to attend the poll. You can find out more at elections.ky. In international headlines, the suburban Chicago man who admitted to fatally shooting 7 people and wounding dozens of others during a 2022 Independence Day parade was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole today. The judge handed down 7 consecutive sentences of life in prison, as prosecutors had requested, for the first-degree murder charges after hearing emotional testimony from survivors and the relatives of those killed in the shooting. 24-year-old Robert Crime III was also sentenced to 50 years on each of the 48 counts of attempted murder, to be served consecutively to the 7 life sentences. Americans' trust in President Donald Trump to bolster the U.S. economy appears to be faltering, with a new poll showing that many people fear the country is being steered into a recession and that the president's broad and haphazardly enforced tariffs will cause prices to rise. Roughly half of U.S. adults say that Trump's trade policies will increase prices a lot, and another 3 in 10 think prices could go up somewhat. This is according to a poll by the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo. And Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Job done, Romelia. Looking out for everyone, Romelia. Always working in the community, Romelia. Stand up for you and me, Romelia. Not turn a blind eye to what you see, Romelia. Everyone, Romelia. Always working on the streets, Romelia.
Good afternoon, folks. That song that you heard there is part of Miss Romelia Welcome's campaign, her campaign song as well. And that's the voice that you're hearing here in the studio right now. She's seeking to represent the constituency of Georgetown North in our upcoming general election. One of our listeners has written in and said, OC, this is a true Caymanian who may not be college educated, but she will do the job. Trust God for her. She is real and genuine. Give her my best wishes and good luck. That's from one of our listeners.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So many topics we want to talk about. Not a whole lot of time, but we're going to use as much time as we can, use it as productively as we can. Immigration issues. That's, again, on everybody's manifesto. I don't know if you have a manifesto. Have you shared that? Is it out? And tell our listeners and viewers where they can find it as well.
Yes, well, I has it out on my meetings whenever I'm doing my meetings or when I'm going door knocking. I hand them out while I'm out in the communities. And I want to back up a little bit regarding the manifestos. Year after year, every election, we have these big bundle of manifestos. Oh, what they're going to do and how they're going to get things done. And once they're in, those manifestos go in file 13. I would like to put out a challenge of all of the candidates who have all of their manifestos, who have even been through half of what is on their manifestos. The people of Georgetown North, the people of the Cayman Islands, is aware of who I am. I'm a go-getter. I don't like to delay in getting things done. I like to see what needs to be done. So I have no time for wasting my time or the people's time. I am at this situation in my life right now where I want to make Georgetown North and Cayman better for our people, for our grassroots people. Now, coming back to immigration, oh my gosh, there is so much that needs to be done with immigration. Immigration needs to be revamped. Immigration board needs to be revamped. We have had awesome people like Dr. Steve McField on there and was taken off. He was doing such a great job on there. Him and others was on there doing awesome. And to please certain people, they removed them so that they can get things passed or permitted go through and what have you. I understand that immigration is one of the lead income for revenue, but at the cost of our people? Really? Our people needs to be looked after. Our people need jobs. You have people who have been taking out permits for selling permits, because at the end of the day, they have to pay the permit holder per month. They have to, and what is so ironic, they're not even working with the person who has their permit. We have had a lot of breakdown with enforcement. Once in a blue moon, you would see enforcements out in the community. I remember when Mr. Manderson and yourself was there, there were people out in the communities all the time, and they're catching people, criminals. They're finding a lot of people who are breaking the immigration laws. When last? It's about I would say about 3-4 months back when the police and CBC got together and went and did some raids.
Joint operation. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I asked our DG for. How about setting up a group with all different agencies, task force.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, and he promised me it was going to get done. Up to this day, we have not gotten that task force because, and I believe once we have people visible in our communities, things would be better. But things are, and that's the reason why we have so much crime today, because the police are not there. They're not visible in our communities. They're not on feet anymore. They're not on bicycles, which was promised that would come back, and we just have chaos in our community, especially for the lower communities. We don't have these kind of issues in the upper scale communities. And it's sad because we need a level playing field when it coming on situations like that. You don't have certain things happening in certain communities when you have certain things happening in the lower class communities. But at the end of the day, if someone was to call from one of the upper class communities, the police, they're there in a flash. It takes all 3-4 hours before they get, just estimate, before they can get to the other side. You have the lower class, which is not right. And I mean, once coming together with an enforcement force to get things done in our community, to always have our communities on check, things will get better. That also goes for with DEH. And if people need to understand it, I'm not here to bash them. We have a lot of people who are living underprivileged. A lot of people, especially our seniors, who are living in deplorable conditions. Now we'll see all of those concessions they gave away. When all of that funds could have go towards helping our people, helping our seniors who built these islands, who put in their all into these islands, are being neglected. I'm not against, don't get me wrong, I'm not against developers coming here and developing areas in Cayman. But I'm against it when our local businessmen are not making anything, when our Caymanians are not being employed to help build these places, when our Caymanians are not being employed to run these places. That's what I'm against. You understand? So the concessions should never happen in the Cayman Islands when you have so much people in our communities living in a deplorable condition.
Now,
that's a no.
There are some candidates who've said that Cayman doesn't have a money earning problem, that they have a spending problem. So it seems as if that despite the concessions, there's enough revenue there, but how they go about dispersing it, how they go about spending it, is the question. So if you were in control of the budget or assigning a budget, what areas would you give priority to in terms of addressing issues in Cayman? What would be the priority areas for you?
The priorities would be housing, infrastructure, and planning. Oh, they are neglected so bad. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've seen and I've proven areas where Caymanians have been applying to planning to build a house, and they have to go through so much red tape, and they have to have this and have that in order. When the businessman or the money man comes in, they just pass dish it out to them on a silver platter, which is not right. What goes for grassroots people should also go for them as well. And infrastructure, roads, oh my gosh, Georgetown North roads are terrible. The roads in Georgetown North, and what's really sad is that my opponent was once minister of NRA, and look at the roads in his constituency. They are horrible. I applaud J.E. Banks. Jay has been in for 4 years, and look at the awesome work Jay has gotten done in Northside. I take my hat off to J.E. Banks a million times. Why can't we have other candidates looking about their constituency in that manner, helping their people in that manner? That's what I agree, that there's other important issues that needs attending to or throughout the job. But at the end of the day, we got to give back to our people. We got to help our people. We got to fix our communities. Beautifying our communities, getting our communities in order, helping our people to upscale their homes, and assist them as well with stipend to assist to fix their homes. Drives up it would, at the end of the day, would drive up the value of those properties, of those communities. But we have never had anyone in Georgetown North to say, well, to care that much to let me help you, instead of handing out, instead of giving a food card here, a food card there, or $50 here or $100 here. No, don't give me the fish. Teach me how to fish. At the end of the day, when you teach me how to fish, I am not in bondage to you. I have my self-esteem, and I can take care of myself once I can make my own money. Help me to get a job.
Okay, we're going to take a last commercial break. I know we got a late start, so we're going to go beyond the 2:15 time that you were scheduled for. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit more, talk about the boundaries, because I believe the boundary for Georgetown North extends all the way somewhere to near. The boundary used to be somewhere where Villas of the Galleon is located, somewhere in that area as well. So it's a pretty large area, as well. So you have a unique mixture of residents in your constituents as well. And you've spoken earlier about that when you have gone to some places, if you're unable to find the persons, at least you leave your card and your details in the office, and then people are calling you back.
That's awesome.
I want to hear some more about that as well. So, folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
The following is a paid political message by Georgetown Central candidate Anthony Ramon.
From the roots of Georgetown, a good man was found. It is clear and you will see that he got true quality. Voting time is coming soon. Vote Anthony Ramon. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. Support you, and he know what to do. Everyone know him around. He's the man for Georgetown. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. A heavy load, GT Central on board. Anthony Ramon, he'll be your MP soon. He's a good man all around, and the best for Georgetown. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. Vote for number 3. Vote for Anthony. The morning train is coming down. The morning train is coming down. Coming with a heavy load. GT Central on board.
That was a paid political message by Georgetown Central candidate Anthony Ramon.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hello,
Cayman Islands, and especially the constituents of West Bay Central. My name is Jewel Hides, and I am candidate number 2 on the ballot. I take this opportunity to invite you to my final meeting on the 29th of April at 7:30 p.m. We will be at the Lamar Plaza in Parsons AC parking lot. Come out and hear the plans I have for West Bay Central and the wider Cayman Islands. It's going to be a promising and exciting evening. We're going to have guest speakers and we're going to have lots of information to share with you. On April the 30th, let's reclaim our future together.
Reclaim our future together. It's time to make a change that lasts forever.
Are you a creator or inventor? Want to legally protect your work? Be known for it? How about make money from it? Wouldn't that be awesome? Cayman is celebrating intellectual property this month, leading up to World Intellectual Property Day on April 26th. But don't wait to join the celebration. Learn how to get your patent, trademark, design, or copyright registered today by visiting the Cayman Islands Intellectual Property Office website at ciipo.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to For the Talk Today. I couldn't go the whole show without doing that. Welcome back to Talk Today. Before I resume my conversation with Miss Romelia Welcome, on the earlier show, someone sent me a WhatsApp message and I didn't get an opportunity to share it, so I'll share it now. The person points out that their cousin, and I know who it is now after reading it a second time because I sent a message asking him to identify himself, but I know who it is now. The person says that their cousin, my cousin and your friend Michael Garfield Ebanks also served in the Vietnam War. He received the Purple Heart for his service there. My grandmother's brother, Clayton Hudson McLaughlin, served as a commander in the U.S. Navy in World War II. And then pointed out that Alfonso has a copy of a commendation letter from General Nimitz as well. So I wanted to share that with our listeners when we're talking about the end of World War II as well. And we have another one for you as well, Miss Romelia. Person says they don't want to be identified, and of course here on Radio Cayman we don't identify writers unless they say that they want to be identified, so they need not worry about that. Person says, I would like to remain anonymous, but please tell Miss Romelia that there are young people without a voice, and they are proud of her and ask you to continue standing up for us and our future, the young people as well. Yeah.
Thank you. I also believe that why we have been having so much of our young people committing suicide is because they've been deprived of a job or a helping hand. I would like to see how best we can address this situation with our young people. They don't need to take their lives. There are people here to help. And I want to be one of those people that are here to help you. So I would like to extend a helping hand out to all of those who are going through depression because of whether it's lack of employment or whether it's lack of someone to talk to. We can make that change. We care about you, the young people of the Cayman Islands. We care about you. I know we have been having a lot of our young people moving over to England because they cannot get a job. I know that the last election that a certain MP was his campaign trail was Cayman first. And it's sad that once the election was over, Cayman became last. I am a go-getter. I likes to get things done. And my priority would be my Caymanian people, helping my Caymanian people to better themselves, to better their lives, and to give them what is deserved.
Okay. Now, before we finish, I want to give you also an opportunity to talk about the events that you have scheduled up until election day, any meetings or anything. If you want to give out any contact details, for potential voters to reach you as well, this is an opportunity for you to do that also.
Okay, my number is 927-0604. 927-0604. My email is Romelia, that's ROMELLIA .welcome @yahoo.com. I have scheduled a 9:30 Saturday, the 26th of April, 2025, coffee at Saltwater Grill, Galleria Plaza, West Bay Road, where you can come out and meet. I will have a meet and greet that you'll be able to meet and greet your candidate for Georgetown North.
What date is that?
And that is on the 26th of April.
Okay.
Saturday morning. And I will also have a meet and greet scheduled for Parkway at 4 o'clock on Saturday as well. So, I have not gotten my final approval as yet for my final meeting, which I am looking forward to. And I'm looking for that to be on the Tuesday the 29th, God's willing.
And location for
I'm
that?
looking at the location for Kirk Home Center once I get approval for it. That would be my last meeting before the election.
Okay. One of our listeners has written in and said, OC, the candidate for North is within striking distance of her objective. She's direct, erudite, nailing the issues without fluff. Her community activism appears to be thoughtful and purposeful in taking care of the people who matter most.
That's right. You can't go wrong once you take initiative to help your people, to meet the needs of your people, to meet the expectations of your people. You can't go wrong. That's what people are lacking. That's what the MPs are. Where the MPs are falling short. Because once they're in, it's all about being self-centered. It's all about them. When at the end of the day, it's not about the MP. It's about the people of this country who put them in that position, in that seat. That's who it should be about.
Okay. I want to give you an opportunity, for some closing comments in terms of the people. Any advice in relation to we haven't had an opportunity to talk about the referendum issues, the referendum questions, as well, and whether or not you have a position on any of those issues. We have the one in relation to decriminalization of ganja, the cruise fare and gambling.
No, no, no on all three. Decriminalization of marijuana. Has not been studied, the effect of it. We have people who are children, mainly teenagers. Brains are not developed enough to be on this, and even though it's illegal, my take on it is, how much time will they be appearing before the judge? Isn't it another way that we can deal with this? Right now, proud to say my daughter, Cindy Welcome, has been that is a CSO, Community Safety Officer in West Bay, have been getting people record expunged from such. So if they have the desire to better themselves, if they have the desire to go to rehab, all kudos to them. But what about those that will be continuously coming before the judge with the same thing over and over and over? What then? How do you figure that will help our people? I think that is setting our people up for failure. Who would want to hire anyone that is on marijuana. It is definitely setting our people up for failure. Gambling is another thing. I think the fines for gambling should go up. We have been having so many criminal activities around gambling. We have been reporting it for decades, and we cannot get a handle on it. We see how it is destroying people, it's killing people, are getting killed because of gambling. We don't need that. We got to remember that Cayman being a God-fearing country, where do we stand with that? The port, there's so many questions that are unanswered. So many questions. Who will own it? Who will be building it? Where the people will be coming from? Who will be getting a piece of the pie? Right now, as it is, we don't have a pier. And the Caymanians, our local taxi drivers, isn't even getting a piece of the pie now as is. And this have been brought to Deputy Premier attention numerous of times. We have taxi drivers that go out there day after day and don't make $1 when you all have 6-7 ships in, when we used to have 6-7 ships in. And it's all because it's all pre-booked. They allow them to sell as much as they want. Our local tours are being sold on board for as much as they want. There's no limit. And then they would, in return, hire the bus drivers and pay them little and nothing scraps to do these tours when they're charging people hundreds of dollars to do these tours on board, and then come ashore paying our Caymanian scraps to do the tours for them. So that deprives a lot of our taxi drivers, a lot of our tour operators to make $1 per day, and it needs to stop. And that would be one of the areas I will be voicing my concerns. Okay. Our people come first.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to read one last comment before we close off. And this person says, excellent presentation, Romelia. Play your harp and keep your sling. And the prayer emoji comes after that as well. So I want to wish you all the best in the rest of your campaign, and the results on election day or election night come the 30th of April, as well. It's been, my pleasure having this interview with you as well, and I hope that you have had an opportunity to get your viewpoints across. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here as well. And I would like to just to say, Georgetown North, here you have a caring candidate. Elect me on April 30th, and let's make a beautiful Georgetown North and get things done for the beautiful Cayman Islands. God bless.
Okay, folks, that ends our Talk Today segment. I welcome you to join me this evening at 7 o'clock when I will be right here on Radio Cayman moderating a referendum discussion that will be taking place. That will start at 7 p.m. this evening. So enjoy the rest of your day. Please stay safe. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Now who's getting the job done, Romelia? Looking out for everyone, Romelia. Always working in the community, Romelia. We'll stand up for you and me, Romelia. Not turn a blind eye to what you see, Romelia. Always working on the streets, Romelia. Oh, this is the girl you want to be your leader. Take this country, make a change, make it better. And she will demand and take it further, Romelia.
The preceding was a paid political broadcast.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen.